Here's a new halal fund. Should you invest into it? Now, what do all of these letters even stand for? It's a bit confusing, but if you think from a high level, this is basically just an equity fund that invests into stocks from around the world, and it's been deemed Sharia compliant. But we'll break it down. If you find it boring, just zoom ahead, but might be interesting for some. So the first part, Invesco, that's just the fund manager, very, very large. They've been doing this for a long time. MSCI, Morgan Stanley Capital International, these are one of the largest index providers out there. And what they do is effectively create indices all day, every day. You may have heard of a famous alternative to MSCI, which is the S&P or the FTSE. And they just create indexes. Next is the ACWI, which is the All Cap World Index. Now, this means you are investing into stocks from around the world. And actually, quite an important point here is when we say around the world, sometimes you get a difference of opinion because MSCI have an index which is called World, but really it was only developed markets. So if you think kind of more established economies, and it neglected the emerging economies, whereas this one actually takes it into consideration. So it's quite an important point to be aware of. The next part, Islamic, easy enough. It means it's Sharia compliant. It means they've been filtered for the sector. So you won't find banks in here, you won't find alcohol, gambling, tobacco companies, etc. And there'll be some financial screening ratios. The next part is M series. Now it gets a bit confusing here, but basically what we're talking about is how are they doing the Sharia compliant financial ratio screening. Sometimes a screening is done on the market cap and sometimes it's done on total assets. The M series is actually done on market cap, which is quite common for most of the screening methodologies. We've actually broken it down in our guide so you can see how all of the different players use it. The next part is UCITS. Now this is basically just saying it's been regulated by the EU. So this fund is allowed to be sold to retail investors like you and I in the European Union. So it's a nice little safety feature, if you will. It means they have to pass some checks. And finally, ETF, exchange traded fund, which is kind of just the wrapper in which that you can invest into, is different to a mutual fund or an open-ended investment company. And one of the nice things is when it is an ETF, it means that the price is kind of exchanged throughout the day. So the prices are a bit more kind of up to date as opposed to a mutual fund. So that's the name. But if we zoom back out, remember all we're saying here is we're investing into companies that have passed Sharia compliance from around the world. And who created this fund? The company is called Invesco. We're not investing into Invesco. They are just the fund manager. So that was the first part. But the real question is, should we invest into it? Because just looking at the name itself is perhaps not enough information. Now let's have a look at what is actually inside of this fund. And it gets a little bit interesting here. So if you know about funds, you would know that Invesco have another Islamic fund, which is the IGDA, which is the kind of world fund. But like I said, it actually excluded the emerging economies. Countries like Taiwan, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, these countries would not have featured into that fund. So even though it said world, wasn't really a world fund. Whereas this one is. So what they've done here in effect is they put together a world fund, excluding emerging economies, plus emerging economies. And now you actually have a total global fund. So in terms of the global exposure, it's quite impressive because the HSBC fund, which is a world fund, again, excludes developed economies. So there's a real strong positive already. Now, what else is going inside? Well, you have about 400 companies. And because when you do that Sharia compliant, what you often find is many of the same companies are in here all the same time. Because when you remove financial institutions, if you look at traditional funds, like non-Sharia compliant funds, they're very financial sector heavy. But once you remove that part, what you're ultimately left with is a lot of tech. And that's the same scenario here. You'll see all the big players, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Eli Lilly, Broadcom, Taiwan Semiconductor, which is a nice addition because obviously based in Taiwan, but nothing really new or particularly exciting, if you will. In terms of the geographical makeup, it's largely the same picture. It's 64% US, but actually the second biggest holding in here is now Taiwan, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Then you have all the rest of the other countries like Japan, Switzerland, Canada, UK, South Korea, France, Netherlands, etc. So in terms of the makeup of the fund, different to the other Invesco fund because now we have those emerging economies, different to some of those HSBC funds, which makes it a little bit easier now because as opposed to having to buy two funds, you could potentially get away with only getting one global fund now. But again, perhaps not enough information to go off in terms of should we actually invest into it? Like I'm still not convinced. What I like to compare it to now is other funds that are doing the same sort of thing. And to compare, really, I want to understand what is the cost of actually investing into this fund. And that's usually referred to as the expense ratio, but just think of it as like an ongoing management fee. You won't notice it, you don't pay it up front, it is just slowly deducted from your fund holding almost every single day. Now this fund fee is 0.35%. Not cheap, not expensive, it's right around kind of the benchmark that we would expect. So if we compare the fees to kind of the rest of the Islamic fund space, it's decent. 0.35% is cheaper than the previous Invesco fund, which was 0.4%. Some of the HSBC funds are around 0.3%. It's not bad at all. If we were to compare it to the non-Islamic funds, then yeah, of course, it will appear very expensive because some of those large funds you can get at like less than 0.1%. But if we just compare it to the space we're in, it is pretty good. So no real complaints there when it comes to looking at the fees. In terms of this structure, the nice thing is, like we mentioned, it's an ETF. It's not a mutual fund or an open-ended investment company, an OIC, which means you will find it, hopefully, on some more platforms. So platforms like Trading 212, in theory, should be able to list it. I've looked, it's not there yet. Usually the way this works is customers will request these funds and then they list it. It's not actually up to Invesco to go out and push it onto all of these funds. It has to kind of come from customers. So if you do like it and you're interested in it, and maybe it's the same kind of situation for other funds, if you like a fund, you can actually go out and request it. We've looked at what's inside of the fund. We said it's kind of well diversified in terms of globally. It's got 400 stocks. It still has the heavy weighting to US and tech. It still has some heavy hitters in there like your Microsoft, etc. And some companies that you wouldn't be so happy with. If you do look closely at the 400 holdings, you'll see companies like Starbucks and Coca-Cola and McDonald's. Not great. One thing to note is, remember, when you are buying a stock, you're not necessarily giving the company the money. You are buying it on the secondary market, which means you're just buying the stock from someone else. And in theory, it doesn't really affect the company. But there's a bigger debate there. So we've looked at the holdings, we've looked at the fees, and we said the fees are not bad at all. They're pretty good. The next part now is understanding one of the key elements when it comes to halal investing, which is purification. So when you invest into a halal fund or a Sharia compliant fund, it does not mean that you're investing into Muslim businesses. It doesn't mean that you're investing into completely 100% compliant businesses, because every business is going to have some incompliant money in it, or activities, if you will. Think about, for example, a large pharmaceutical company. As they get ready to release a new drug, they're going to be sitting on a lot of cash because they have to get ready in terms of their distribution, legal fees, and all these sorts of things. Now, when they're sitting on that large cash, usually it's parked in an account and it will earn interest. That interest income is recorded on the balance sheet. And if that is above 5%, that company is now no longer deemed Sharia compliant. Not to say that the company is doing anything wrong per se, but of course, now they're earning money from interest income, which would not be permissible. So these things require a little bit more reading, and we've covered them quite in depth in other YouTube videos and in our guide as well. So if you want to know more about purification, please go check them out. But what we're going to just look at is how are they doing the purification? Because they've made quite a big change to their previous fund. Initially, the IGDA fund, the way that they did it was a accumulation fund, which means when dividends are paid out by companies, they grab those dividends and they reinvested them for you. But they didn't purify them on the way back in, which made it a headache for Muslim investors. So really, you had no idea kind of how much we'd have to purify, though they would kind of put out some sort of report. Not very helpful, to be honest. And personally, it's why I stayed away from it. But with the new fund, it looks like they've listened and they really pay attention to their audience, because actually they've gone back and they've changed the previous fund now so that it does actually have purification, and they've implemented that same methodology now here. Now, the chosen charities that which they've chosen to purify with is UNICEF. So make of that what you will. Maybe you would like a Muslim charity, and maybe that can happen one day. I guess if enough people were to lobby or to kind of communicate back to the fund, maybe we'd see that change. So, drop us a comment. Which charity would you like to see these funds invest back into or purify their gains to? Now, we've covered quite a lot. And maybe you're coming to a conclusion for yourself whether you're thinking, yes, I like this fund, or no, I don't like this fund. We're going to have a few more points that I just want you to consider before making the final decision. One interesting thing is, because this is a brand new fund and it only came out in 2026, the actual total money inside of this fund is very small at the moment. I think it's about $2 million. Now, what does that mean for you and I as an investor? Because the pool of money inside is still quite small, it means there won't be so much liquidity in the early days. So it's definitely one to pay attention to in terms of buying and selling. It might be a little bit slow if you were to buy and sell shares off this fund. So just pay attention to that. The other part to pay attention to, which is quite exciting. So in the previous Invesco fund, it was only released in a dollar version, whereas this one, from what I've seen, is coming out in dollar initially, makes sense, but also is going to be released in pound sterling, which means now we don't have that whole issue of foreign exchange fees or costs to be worried about. That is quite exciting. That makes a big difference over the kind of longer term investor. You don't have to worry about, oh, am I missing out on foreign exchange price differences? So what's the final verdict? Well, we've said there are some strong positives. It's cheaper than the previous Invesco fund. It's more globally diversified than the previous fund. Now the fact that we have that emerging market exposure is quite exciting, but it still has those limiting factors. It still invests into quite dominant US tech heavy companies. It still has those companies that we don't like to see. But the purification element is a huge headache which has been removed. The fact that it's now going to come out in two kind of currencies is a huge benefit. So I'm torn. But what do you guys think? Is this going to be a fund that you use to replace your previous funds? Is it going to be a building block? Let us know in your comments. And if you like this type of video where we go into the fund and we try and explain it, make sure you're subscribed because we are doing deep dives regularly. Assalamu alaikum. Should I do the call to action to the academy? We actually run a structured program where we teach you how to invest in a halal way, very comprehensive, so that you can decide if funds like this make sense for you as an individual, because no one can tell you that information. You will have to be able to come to the conclusion yourself. Inshallah, we'll see you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum.